have didn't have the best of news for Portland. We had a hearing at 3:30 for Jason Patrick, Wayne Emmer, and Daryl Thorne and Jake Ryan. And those verdicts, all four were found guilty by Judge Brown on the trespassing charges. There's 7 total misdemeanor charges, a variety of them. There was a couple of them that Daryl Thorne was found not guilty, and hey Josh, come over here. I know we got a list here, so I can get them exactly right. But
the list is right here.
So the guys in Portland, again, were found guilty on the trespassing charges on the bench trial from Judge Brown.
Nobody could hear you. Can you talk louder?
They did not get a jury trial on these. They were found guilty by Judge Brown on the trespassing charges. All of them were. Count 2, Jason Patrick was found guilty. Count 3, Dwayne and Emmer and Jake Ryan was found guilty. Count 4, Daryl Thorne was found not guilty on count 4. Count 5, Daryl Thorne was found guilty. Count 6, Jason Patrick was found guilty. Count 7, Dwayne Emmer was found not guilty on that charge. Those other charges were, if I'm getting them right, were the use of the four-wheelers, the ATV, and the Dodge Durango. So they've got a kind of a variety of other charges, but the main count 1 was the trespassing, which they found them all not guilty. This is what we were objecting to all along. All the defendants and their lawyers were objecting to it, wanting a jury trial on these, and they were denied by Judge Brown. Judge Brown set on all 3 trials. She heard all the evidence on both sides, and we feel that she was biased in her decision here. I want to turn it over and let you hear about what happened here this afternoon in Nevada.
So today we go back in, and Agent Willis is still on the stand from yesterday. He came on the stand yesterday, took all day yesterday, and he's going into today. Now, let me remind you, Agent Willis is the case agent for the Bunkerville case. He was able to be in the courtroom the entire time, and when we went in today, he was doing his homework, looking through the exhibits before the judge or anyone came in up on the stand. So that was kind of interesting. I guess he's allowed, just like all the defendants are allowed, to sit in the courtroom the entire time and then testify, just like the defense. The people will be allowed to sit in the entire time and then testify. Now, what he is doing, he was not at the ranch, he is just the case agent. He just went through all of the evidence, and he is taking out screenshots of different videos and screenshots off of news and screenshots off of Facebook and giving them a time and putting them in a timeline PowerPoint for the government's ending exhibit, I guess. So for all day yesterday he did this, and all day practically today he did it. Some of the objections, there was, he gets up there and he says, well, we took this from the news footage. There's no metadata on it, so they based the time off of aerial footage and traffic at the time. But the picture itself does not show any traffic. It shows 2 people sitting in the desert. There's nothing to base the time off of. And then they show the image and they point out 1 tire at the top of the screen, and they're like, well, this is a 3-wheel bike, and that's how I base my time off of this. And so, and it's just been hard to watch for 2 days that they come out with, and they're like, giving times to each of these pictures and putting them in a timeline, and these pictures are coming from completely different sources. So they finally finished with him today, and I want to say they did 80 different pictures with time on it. They're all 4:57, and they started with 1 and they ended with, I want to say, 80 something.
The defense objected to every single
photo
picture.
Because you can't take something and give it a time and a date. You can't, well, normally you can't bring in evidence. The reason that they have to bring in, like, say, Flynn or Dennis Michael Lynch is because they have to testify that this is the footage that they took, that it's not been edited, that the real footage and it reflects the day. Well, they've been able to do that here in the courtroom without having the person who took the pictures. You can't just pull something off of Facebook and bring it in as evidence and say, oh yeah, well, I found it on Facebook, so it's an actual representation of that day. That's not how it goes. And they've been doing this with news footage, with Facebook, with YouTube, with things off of people's accounts. What do they call it? Open source data. Things that you can view off of Google searching. So when we go in to cross-examination, Stephen Stewart's lawyer, Tomasi, goes and he starts asking about if he viewed anything that went viral and what going viral means. And if he had viewed videos that went viral that pertain to the Bundy Ranch. And he said yes. And he asked in particular about Ammon being tased. And he said yes. And he said, so it was relevant for you to view for the case. And he says yes. And then he motions to start bringing in the Margaret Houston. It was objected to by the defense. And Tomasi says, well, it was relevant for him to review. This is the case agent. He's finding it relevant enough to review for the case. But she's saying that it's not relevant to bring into the courtroom. Then they brings up how many other BLM and other agents were outside or in the wash at the time. He says 40. Then he wants him to clarify wash, post 1, all these different posts. He wants to clarify just BLM or other agencies. Does that include Metro? It gets convoluted, and he says he does not recall. Then they go back through these 80 plus videos, and they start bringing him up, and they say, well, here, their big case against Eric is black hat, Stewart is tan hat, or Drexler's tan hat, Stewart's blue shirt. They bring up photos, they count the hats on them. There's a lot of black hats, there's a lot of tan hats. They point out where the pictures are, where the people are in one picture that's tagged at 11:59, another picture tagged 2 minutes later in totally different positions. So they're bringing up all of this, and let's see, talked about Mr. Flynn's videos. So the time that they've got all of these pictures coincides with Flynn's videos. He brings up the fact that Flynn visited with the case agent, handed all of his footage over to him before he committed suicide and is no longer with us. So he is taking all of this, because I mean there's dash cam footage that has its own timestamp. There's Lynch's footage that doesn't have a timestamp. There's different dash cam footages. Each one has its own timestamp. There's dash cam footage from Metro and HPD or NHP up on the bridge that has its own timestamp. But they're changing all the timestamps to coincide with Flynn's timestamp. And he says that's because Flynn's video has a roundabout footage of everything. He's saying, well, Flynn's video, it's down in the wash, it's up on the bed, it's at the rally, it drives, so that's why they're claiming that they're time-stamping it all to Flynn's video. Then he brings up the fact that since Flynn handed all of this over, he doesn't know if the metadata has been changed. Willis says that to his knowledge, at the time that it was given to him, it had not been changed. Then he brings up one of the photos about Park Service in the stacked formation. Because earlier he says, oh yeah, they're moving here and moving in. And this is another thing they're doing through all these through all these still shots of videos. It's a still shot of a video, and he's saying, yeah, this person is moving in this direction. How can a person be moving inside a video? Or inside a picture? The video, they could be moving, and you could show the video. We've all already seen all the videos. All the screenshots they're pulling up today, it's already been seen in the courtroom. But they're taking a still shot, and they're saying, this guy's moving from here over to here. Why do you need this still shot with a time on it to show something the video has already shown? Okay, so Jess gets up there, Eric Parker's lawyer, and he starts bringing up the pictures. And he brings it up and says, okay, now this picture you've taken is from Exhibit 111, and it is different than the one you used to get your screenshots, because when he's offering all these pictures, he says what exhibit he took it from, at what timestamp. And so Jeff literally in the courtroom starts going through exhibits with the timestamp, with the exhibit that he said at the time he said, and the pictures are not matching up. At that point, he motions to remove the slides. I think there was 6 of them that he had brought up. He motions to remove those slides. And the judge asked Myrie what he wants to say. I want to say Myrie didn't really. He's like, well, we can do that in redirect, and the judge then withholds her judgment until she hears what Myrie comes up with during redirect. So basically, she just gave him an extra day to figure out what he's going to say. Every single picture, every single timestamp has some equation to get it to Flynn time, whether it's minus 2 minutes 44 seconds, plus 14 seconds. They all have a different equation to get them to Flynn time, which I'm wondering why we're getting everything to Flynn time when Flynn's video is not, you know, I would think that they'd want it to the dash cam footage because that would be an accurate time, to the aerial footage, the UTC time, that would be an accurate time. So I'm not really sure why they're converting everything to Flynn's time. But and then Jess brings up the fact that what they're using Flynn's footage, well, Flynn never made it to the ICP, and Apley never made it over to the Bridger parking area. So they're saying that Flynn's video was it had the most coverage of everything, but in all actuality, it didn't. It's only one portion, it's only one side, and the police officers have their other side, so it's really convoluted. They did bring up in one of the pictures Eric's finger is not on the trigger, and they continue to go up and they continue to bring up photos and then use what he said in direct examination, like I based my time off of that truck on the southbound lane. And then they go to the aerial footage and they can't find what it's saying. So it seems like we spent 2 days looking at evidence that's already been entered previous in this trial, just screenshotting these evidence with times, with this big elaborate explanation of how they've transferred it to Flynn time. And now in cross-examination, they're going through the exact way that he said he did it. Now, mind you, they didn't show us in the courtroom that he did it. He just explained how he did it. And then they're going through and they are proving that it's not matching up. So in the half an hour of cross-examination that we got to today, I would say that probably every juror in there sees there's giant holes in this story. And I think they're very frustrated that we just spent the last 2 days looking at evidence we've already had in, and within 30 minutes of cross-examination, it's falling apart because your times aren't matching up. So I don't really know what we're doing. I feel like we're just wasting time.
Well, tomorrow, we still got to do some more cross-examination of this same witness,
Yes.
Mr. Willis.
Yes.
We still have 3 more witnesses, I understand, after him.
Yes.
That the government wants to bring in. If they last as long as this, we won't even be done by Thursday evening. So we're hoping they're shorter witnesses. So the government's planning on taking the rest of the week to still bring in witnesses. Next week is going to be a dark week. They're not going to even have court. So the defense doesn't even get to start bringing their witnesses in until the following week after that.
Until April 3rd.
April 3rd is when the defense is planning on starting their case. So this is absurd. It's wrong that they're making these guys wait this long. We shouldn't have a dark week next week. That's the way it is. That's really good. So really disappointed in that also. One other point is they made you take a necklace off before.
So when I was entering the building today, I was putting my bag through, and normally I've never had an issue, and today they stop my bag and they're like, well, what is this? And we pull a couple things out, throw it through again, end up finding my necklace. My necklace is it is a bullet casing with a crystal inside of it on a necklace. And so they said, okay, well, you can't have a bullet casing in here. So they put it in the little box, and they continue putting my purse through, and they're like, still not. And, we're pulling more stuff out of my purse. And mind you, I've been here every day since the beginning of court and never had an issue. And then they're like, well, what's this? And it's an eyeglass repair kit. And I mean, we've all seen eyeglass repair kits. It's got little screws, tiny little screwdriver. It's in the original packaging, not even open. And they start to take that and put it into the bucket. And I'm like, well, why can't I have an eyeglass repair kit in there? Like, I wish that they had a little list of everything we're not allowed, because I'm sorry, but anything that you think I could do with an eyeglass repair kit, could I not do with my pencil or my pen? So at that point, I said, I'm done with this, and I took all of my stuff back and put my purse back in the car and just brought my book in with me and my water bottle and my things. Because it's getting, the atmosphere here in the last couple of days have changed dramatically. You know, we were having very few marshals out here. We're back to 6 again. We're getting screened more thoroughly as we're going in. I mean, we get screened twice every single time we go in. So that's possibly 4 times a day for me. I get screened 2 times each time. So that's 8 times a day my purse is being up and down. That's 8 times a day for the past 2 months that I've had my crystal necklace gone up and down in there, and it hasn't been a problem up until today.
And even this morning, like I mentioned, they took my pocket Constitution away from me and wouldn't allow me to go into the courthouse. They stopped me at the first screening, not the second screening. So as I go into the courthouse here to enter, to go through the screening, the metal detectors, the marshal, after I go through, reaches out and grabs my pocket Constitution, takes it out of my pocket, and tells me I can't have it. He said, "What is this?" I said, "It's my pocket Constitution." And he tells me that I cannot enter into the courthouse with that I had to either throw it away right there or take it back to the car. And so these are some of the things we're dealing with out here. And I carry a pocket Constitution almost everywhere I go. Every court hearing, I've had them in Portland, I've had them here multiple times. So they seem like they're making these rules up as they go along. There's nothing wrote down that tells where we can be out here, making these live streams or flying signs. Each marshal and each security officer gives us different commands and tells us what we can and what we cannot do on different days. So
another thing I want to bring up is Eric wears his pocket Constitution in the courtroom like that. And one day when he had it in his pocket, the marshals did come up and take it from him and say that the judge does not allow it to be displayed. And so being in your shirt pocket like that would be displaying the Constitution, and that was not allowed. And that day, you know, Eric got upset about it, Drexler got upset about it. It was kind of a big thing, and they have, you know, they're not allowed to have it in their pocket anymore. I believe that they are still allowed to have it in the room, I think. But they can't have it where the jury could possibly see it. So here in the court of law, the Constitution is not allowed. And that's should be eye-opening for anyone.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. If anybody don't know, this is Eric Parker's wife. Eric Parker's facing trial here. He's one of our political prisoners, so everybody knows that. We appreciate you joining us. We'll be back here tomorrow morning. We've got court again starting at 8:30 again, so we've got to be here close to 8 o'clock to get in line, get ready, go through screening and all that kind of stuff. But I'll be back here tomorrow along with all these other great people supporting these patriots, these political prisoners. And we need your support. We need your prayers. If you can't be here, send us messages. We get the messages even if we can't answer back always. We appreciate the messages. Send them to any of the other political prisoners, patriots over in Portland, Dwayne Emmer, Jake Ryan, anybody you have someone to contact them, send them a letter, let them know you're supporting them. So we appreciate your support, whether you're here or just sending us letters or messages on Facebook or text message, however you do that. We appreciate it tons. Thank you again, and God bless.
Thank you for watching Unindicted Coca News.
Didn't have the best of news for Portland. We had a hearing at 3:30 for Jason Patrick. Were, if I'm getting them right, were the use of the four-wheelers, the ATV, and the Dodge Durango. So they got a kind of a variety of other charges, but the main count 1 was the trespassing, which they found them all not guilty. This is what we were objecting to all along. All the defendants and their lawyers were objecting to it, wanting a jury trial on these, and they were denied by Judge Brown. Judge Brown set on all. I know we got a list here, so I can get them exactly right. But
the list is right here.
So the guys in Portland, again, were found guilty on the trespassing charges the bench trial from Judge Brown. That
No, nobody could hear you. Can you talk louder?
They did not get a jury trial on these. They were found guilty by Judge Brown on the trespassing charges. All of them were. Count 2, Jason Patrick was found guilty. Count 3, Dwayne and Emmer and Jake Ryan was found guilty. Count 4, Daryl Thorne was found not guilty on count 4. Count 5, Daryl Thorne was found guilty. Count 6, Jason Patrick was found guilty. Count 7, Dwayne Emmer was found not guilty on that charge. Those other charges on Daryl Thorne and Jake Ryan, and those verdicts, all 4 were found guilty by Judge Brown on the trespassing charges. There's 7 total misdemeanor charges, a variety of them. There was a couple of them that Daryl Thorne was found not guilty, and hey Josh.